Well, I'm Chris Sutton. I am the director of PCA and an instructor here. And this is Paul. He is director of instruction and mentoring, and also an instructor. And we'd like to start off just giving you some introductions to who we are, and we can go around and do some introductions. Um, to introduce somebody who's not here, um, we have Becky Curtis is our founder, and she is not here today, but we just want to kind of acknowledge her as the founder of Pain Coach Academy. She and It started as Take Courage Coaching. So if you ever see TCC, that's what that is. And she is not here today. She's in New York at a training, but sends her well wishes. And I'm Chris Sutton, and I started out as a client, a coaching client of Take Courage Coaching, which is now Pain Coach Academy. And we used to have two kind of arms of the organization, a coaching arm and a school arm. And now we're just a school. But I was a client of the coaching arm, and I've had chronic pain pretty much my whole life, starting as headaches as a young child, escalated to low back pain, really severe menstrual cramps, and neck pain. And in 2020, it got to the point where I was having 4 migraines a week. I felt like I was having stabbing hot pokers in my neck and electric shooting pain down my leg. And I was kind of begging for a spinal fusion, which I had a background in body work. So if you know anything about body workers don't beg for spinal fusions. They're like, no, not a spinal fusion. But I was like, I had done everything under the sun, like you name it, I had tried it. And I did finally have a spinal fusion. And when they did that, they found I also had thyroid cancer. So my 2020 was just fabulous. Um, Come 2021, I was still in a lot of pain, even after all that. And one night I was like, I wonder if there's such a thing as a pain coach. And I found there was. And so I started working with a coach named Brenda, and I found that it really was helpful in my mindset and my quality of life. And I learned things that I thought I knew everything there was to know. And I found I did not know everything there was to know. There was a lot more that was super helpful for me. And so I decided to train to become a pain management coach. And so I went through the health and wellness training, and then I did the advanced pain training. And what I learned was really life changing for me personally, and helpful for me to, I was like, this is my new profession. I really wanted to make a difference for people who are in chronic pain, because I felt like this is the missing piece. Like, this is what people in chronic pain need. So little did I know I'd end up running the school, as well as being a coach and being an instructor. Here I am, these years later. Um, so that's my story of how I am, how I'm here with you right now. So I'm going to turn it over to Paul.
I always love Chris's story because it's a really familiar story. A lot of the people that end up involved in our school, were once clients, and a lot of our students are people that have chronic pain themselves. So, um, I'll tell a little bit. I'll share a little bit about my story. As you can probably see, I share the same last name as Becky. Um, Becky's actually my mother. and she had a rollover car accident in 2005 that shattered her C4 vertebrae. And long story short, she developed really severe burning nerve pain from the neck down. And I was like 17 at the time. So it was kind of that age where I was starting to figure life out and figure out what I was going to do. And mom really struggled for the first few years of her pain. I think she was really um, kind of in that dark place for probably, accident was 2005. I don't think she really got to a good place to like 2008, 2009. She started to kind of turn the corner. So there were some dark years there, and it gave me a chance to, just really see human suffering and develop a lot of empathy for that. And I ended up working as a fitness trainer at a multidisciplinary chronic pain program. Just kind of drawn to that for whatever reason. And she started the coach program in 2009, and decided to take the training. It's really helpful in my um, the work I was doing in that multidisciplinary program. So developed some coaching skills and really helped me learn how to communicate with people in a way that doesn't show judgment. I think that's something that so many people in chronic pain experience, is like this overwhelming judgment they feel for the medications they need to be on or the surgeries they want to get, like Chris was talking about. There's everybody's looking for that way out of suffering in one way or another. So it really just lit a fire for me of helping people. And I didn't really have any of my own health issues for a long time. It was just kind of like, well, I don't really, it was kind of hard for me to relate to people that were in pain. And I had empathy for them, but it was hard to relate. About 6 years ago, developed some autoimmune problems, and um, that really, I lost hearing in one of my ears and just had a lot of weird stuff going on in my body, and that really set me on a quest to figure out my own healing that needed to take place. And I would imagine that all of you here have a healing story of some kind, whether it's chronic pain or something else that you've been through. I think one of the, it's almost like a rite of passage to go through your own suffering. And then when you get on the other side of that, you learn to help others that are going through something similar. You have that heart really open to them, wanting to help them. So that experience for me was like a real blessing. That went through a lot of autoimmune problems and having to like really get my own health under control and develop myself. Um, so yeah, I instruct for the school. I'm pretty involved with the curriculum and a lot of the mentoring that goes on and that kind of thing. So Chris and I both wear a lot of hats working for the school, but those are some of the main things that I do. Um, I'd love to hear. We have the luxury of having a smaller group today, and I would love to hear your guys' stories too. I really value what you guys the reason you're here, and I would imagine if you're here looking at becoming a pain coach, you probably have a really interesting story to tell. So if anybody's comfortable sharing that, I'd love to just open it up to you to share.
I can share if you want. So, Paul, I know we talked on the phone a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'll try and like air my story down, I guess. But like you, Chris, I think I've had chronic pain for like most of my life. I was a figure skater when I was young, and I remember going to like physio when I was like 11 for back issues. And then fast forward through teenage years, which is kind of a blur to be honest. Um, but I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and associated disorders about 18 years ago. And as well, I've been a nurse for about 18, 19 years. So I've worked in the nursing field and still do. But I think going through all the nursing, like there's parts I really love about it, but there's parts of the Western medical system that don't really align with me and the path I've been on. So feel like I've been on like every end of it from being basically bedridden on a bazillion medications and opiates and everything else to now I am pretty much off all my prescription medications anyways. I do take supplements and stuff. And I'm training for a half Ironman triathlon in about 6 weeks. So
Wow.
I was just thinking when you guys were talking, I'm like, well, now I suffer on my terms. So
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
instead
That's a
of
good
someone
way of
else's
putting that.
terms,
Yeah.
most of the time anyway. So, but it's definitely a balancing act training with chronic pain and not overdoing it and having a coach that understands that. And I think with the chronic pain side of things too, I am more prone to getting injured sometimes. So it's a real balancing act. But
Mm.
so yeah, so I actually started a health coaching program. And then the university I was taking it through sort of dissolved the department.
Mm.
So I wasn't going to be able to finish it through there. And I had already been looking at the advanced pain coaching through you. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to start over again, why don't I do it all at the same school? So that's sort of what I'm looking at now. I know you guys have uh the May course, but I think Paul, you were also saying there was an August one that started as well. So yeah, that is, I'll keep it brief.
Thanks,
Great.
Jennifer. This is
Jennifer.
why I like hearing from you guys, because I knew there'd be some interesting stories here today. So thank you for sharing that, Jennifer. It means a lot hearing your story, and appreciate the path you're on. That's awesome.
Well, I'm a physio in Ottawa in Canada. I don't actually have chronic pain myself, but most of my career I was in physio clinics, so dealing a lot with people like Jennifer, lots of sports related injuries and athletes and stuff like that. Around the pandemic, I decided to do a bit of a career change and started working in the community, and it was just diametrically different. 95% of the people I see in the community have chronic pain.
Mm-hmm.
They have comorbidities. It's not like somebody's coming into the clinic saying, I have runner's knee. Can you help me with that? This is somebody who has half a dozen health related issues, and chronic pain is probably always there.
Yeah.
And it's really just a way of just trying to talk to people more about this, and in a really meaningful way. Um, Unfortunately, given the structure of community care, I don't always have a huge amount of time. So it's really just trying to make the message as succinct and as meaningful as I can. And I'm always looking for ways of making the chronic pain conversation to be as useful and as meaningful to the patient, because some people are really struggling, and it's just physiotherapy, it's like so limited in so many ways, and it's about taking it away from physio and introducing people to concepts that perhaps they're not very familiar with, or maybe not even that comfortable with. But yeah, I just really want to expand my knowledge base and be able to communicate just that little bit better with my patients.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Pat. That sounds great. And having chronic pain is not a requirement for coming here. And that's great as a physio that you want to have this coaching skills and more knowledge in this direction. Um, the population you are working with is a population that I currently am working with in my coaching position and one of my jobs. So I absolutely understand what you're working with, and that's great that you're serving that population. So thank you for the work you're doing.
Thanks.
A fellow Canadian.
Yeah, we
Oh,
got Team Canada. Team
good.
Canada.
All right.
I'm near Vancouver in BC.
Okay, so you're just down the road, Jennifer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just down the
It's a
road.
small country, right? Real small country.
Yeah, tiny.
And Natasha, I want you to know there's an open door if you wanna share, and that's okay too. Right. Well,
Okay.
Oh,
Hello, can you hear me?
oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we got you.
Sorry, I have kind of an unstable connection at the moment. I wasn't sure. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, I've been experiencing chronic pain myself since I was maybe a teenager with chronic back pain. And in the recent years, I was also diagnosed with fibromyalgia and kind of trying to find and trying all the ways to let's say get rid of this chronic pain because it was defining my life and my all my experiences. I discovered that it has a lot to do with intergenerational trauma and things I wasn't processing for a very long time.
Hmm.
I that kind of opened the door for me to look more into this psychosomatic, let's say, condition. And since then, when I was aware that that was the reason, let's say, I was able to become friends, let's say, with the pain I was experiencing and not let it define my life anymore.
Hmm.
Since then, I did a training in coaching and health and wellness coaching, and I'm a new coach. So in my life at the moment, I see a lot of young people also experiencing this chronic pain. So I was more interested in getting to know about this program as well. Um, the thing is, I'm in a Eastern European time, and I might not be able to come into the coaching sessions live. So I was just wondering, maybe if you guys do this at a later time in different hours. So I might consider, but at the moment I see for me it will be 11 at night when you guys start the coaching sessions. So I'm not quite sure if that will fit my schedule.
Mm. Yeah. Are you looking at the advanced pain program, or are you? It sounds like you're already Are you NBHWC coach, or are you looking for the?
Mhm. I did an NBWH approved training, but I don't have the accreditation
That's
for
okay.
board of health and wellness coaches. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you don't have to have sat for the board certification yet to take the advanced pain. As long
Mm-hmm.
as you've taken an approved course, you can take our
Yes.
advanced pain. Um, so as for the hours, how many hours? We can do a combination of live and recorded, but I'm not sure what the ratio needs to be. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to come late at night and party with us?
That would be
We
an
could play some
interesting
dance
perspective.
music.
Yeah, that
I
would
used
be
to be
really
a
nice.
comedian for a living, so my old job was doing comedy long ago. So I like to have fun.
Never a dull moment, Chris.
Yes, never a dull moment. I do keep it fun. Um, yeah, maybe we can talk afterwards about how we can maybe try to work with you on that, Natasha.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you all for sharing your stories. That's really it's really inspiring and really nice to hear your backgrounds and your interests. Um, just to share kind of who we are, we're really about educating people about both the science and the skills of pain management coaching. And that's really our goal is, so that pain coaching can become the standard of care for people with chronic pain. Because chronic pain is different from acute pain. And yet the Jennifer's like, yep, working in the medical profession, and yet it's pain is mostly treated the same as chronic pain is mostly treated the same as acute pain in the medical profession. And so our goal is really to empower coaches to work with people to escape that grip of chronic pain with these different skills. And so, what is pain coaching? Pain coaches, we really work with clients to improve their quality of life. Because when you have chronic pain, that quality of life tends to get worse and worse and worse. Your life tends to get smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like, oh, well, let me just drop this one thing. Let me drop this other thing. Let me drop this other thing. Your life gets smaller and smaller. And so we help people to start improving that quality of life, getting back to those things that made their life rich. And then reducing that suffering piece of the pain and pain. And so pain coaches do this through first giving clients tools to feel empowered over pain. Because, when you've got chronic pain, you start to feel powerless. But if you start to have some very simple tools, even tools like deep breathing, tools to help activate the parasympathetic nervous system, because so often you're living in sympathetic overdrive, and you'll know what I mean when you learn more about the nervous system and the neuroscience that we teach. You start to feel more empowered because it's not having that power over you. We work in shifting that mindset. We're very strengths based. And so, if you've had chronic pain, you might know that you start to forget that you have strengths. You're like, oh, I forgot I have strengths. I'm so just feeling like weak and not strong. I remember being when I was really in the hole, and I started to write like, I am strong on sticky notes and putting them on my mirror because I forgot that I was strong. So helping our clients to remember that they have strengths and purpose, a sense of purpose, because that sense of purpose gets lost. You're going through life, you have a sense of purpose. Chronic pain whops you upside the head, and suddenly, your purpose might be different now. And so as we're working with our clients, we're aligning them with a new vision of what their life might look like and accounting for pain in that vision. And so that shift of mindset is now not just focusing on the suffering, but focusing on what is your new purpose. And then we've got that education piece about pain science, which that education is creating some shifts in the nervous system. So the nervous system isn't just so heightened up and juiced up around pain, but is starting to calm the nervous system, starting to feel more safe, less agitated. And that's helping our clients to discover their resilience to pain. Because sometimes you forget that you're resilient. You don't feel very resilient when you're in that state of chronic pain. We're tapping into mindfulness. We're tapping into self-compassion. Because if you remember, when you're in that worst of the chronic pain, maybe you weren't speaking to yourself very compassionately. Maybe you were hard on yourself. And so helping our clients to remember to be compassionate towards yourself. Even as a coach, remembering to be compassionate towards yourself. So we have a whole class on self-compassion. I teach that one. That's my favorite class. And we have a mindfulness component. And this helps to break that pain-fear cycle. Because, you have pain, you feel fearful, which causes more pain, which causes more fear, and you just get caught up in that feedback loop. But if we can help our clients to then break out of that feedback loop and cause a more positive feedback loop, that helps to shift the nervous system and creates, a reduction in pain. And so this is actually a study that's been done about our pain coaching. This was a +1 study. This was through Take Courage Coaching, our coaching arm, back when we had the old name. And as you can see here, it found that health and wellness coaching, which was pain coaching, helped people with persistent chronic pain. You can see health and wellness coaching positively impacts individuals with chronic pain and pain-related interference. And this was done over a year with like, we were sent like the hardest of the hardest of the hardest of the hard. Like it was people on disability, workers' comp that had been through everything. And so if you get people who are more self-motivated, this will happen more quickly. But you can see this was, I believe, 3 months. No, this is baseline. This was at 6 months, you see the changes happening. And then at a year, you could see, whew, big changes happening. So as Becky likes to say, we're moving mountains. So you can see the effectiveness. So Paul, you want to talk about our curriculum and our courses?
Yeah, thanks for that, Chris. We have two main offerings. One is our basic health and wellness coach training program. So that's a prerequisite to sit for the NBHWC board exam. So we are an approved program for that. And that's a 17-week course. And I'll get to the specifics. What's that?
Usually.
Yeah. With a caveat, we do have a 12-week course that we run, usually once a year. That's more of a kind of a summer accelerated course for those that are wanting to get in, knock it out, and get done. It is really compact. It does move fast. So if you're somebody that likes to, kind of an accelerated process with getting that done, getting that checked off, you might like that. If you like more of a slow approach where you can really let the skills marinate a little bit, we have something for you there with the 17-week course too. So, and then we have our advanced pain coach training. So, we put this together for a couple reasons. One, our health and wellness coach training, it gives everyone the foundational skills to be a good solid pain coach. But we find that it takes time to really develop the skills to become advanced, right? To kind of take things to a higher level of mastery. So, so we have an advanced training that puts a lot of emphasis on group training and some other kind of deeper learning that really helps our coaches take things to another level. And one of the nice things about this training, it satisfies all of the 36 CEUs that you need in order to maintain your certification for the 3 years. So kind of have a one-stop shop there for getting your CEs satisfied for the initiatives. And I'll talk a little bit about the specifics of what offerings we have coming up. The soonest health and wellness coach training we have coming up starts on May 20. And this is our 12-week, right? This is the Monday, Wednesday, Friday accelerated course, and that meets from 9 to 11 Pacific time or noon to 2 Eastern. And we also have our 17-week course. It's a Monday, Wednesday course, and that meets at 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, Monday and Wednesday. And that is, like I said, a little bit longer of a course. We kind of spread things out. You get a little more of a chance to kind of let things marinate. So that's our health and wellness training offerings that we have coming up. And then on July 9.
Sorry to interrupt. The one in August is going to start August 19th.
Right. The advanced training, we usually do one in the summer and one in the winter. So our upcoming advanced training starts July 9, and that's a 12-week course that meets on Tuesday. It meets from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. It's a 2-hour class. Our Thursday class is a group practicum that meets from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific. And I'll talk a little more about the specifics of the curriculum and kind of how that works here in the next couple slides. Any questions on that, on the timing and the schedule part of it?
The August one is the 17-week one, Monday and Wednesday.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, so the summer one is the intensive and it's daytime hours. Those are the two big differences. It's just more compact and it's daytime hours versus evening hours.
I want to give you guys a little peek at the curriculum. And this is for our health and wellness training. We kind of have things broken up to where we give our students the foundational piece first. That involves a lot of like coaching theory, neuroscience. And then we move into more of the behavioral part of it after that. So we have stages of change, and really MI. Our training is very focused in motivational interviewing. So I think a motivational interviewing is kind of being the language of change. It's the language of behavior change. And as you can see, we go really in depth with it. We have 8 classes that are dedicated to MI. At the end of that, we have a practicum together where we get to practice our skills. One of the principles we really live by is that, we'd rather have you guys spending more time working on the practical skills and really developing that than doing a lot of homework or a lot of outside work. We really want you to be able to put your energy and your attention into just learning the skills of coaching first and foremost. So put a lot of emphasis there. And every class, for the most part, has like some built-in practicum in it where we practice skills together. We learn kind of that engaging environment where, because we have a little smaller class size, we really give everyone a chance to practice together and get to know each other and bond and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. After that, we have a lot of the coaching tools that we bring in. Mindfulness. Talk about cultural appreciation and self-compassion, automatic thoughts. So a lot of the tools that are important for someone that's going into pain to be up to date on, really have a good feel for and a good handle on. We also have a piece of this that involves group coaching. Group coaching is, and I'll say more about this in the advanced training when I talk about that, but it's a beautiful skill set especially for chronic pain. One of the things we see the most is people are just so isolated, not just in chronic pain, but I think our whole world is just separated. So group coaching really helps to bring people together and help people heal. And we dedicate a lot of time to that. Coaching burnout, we talk about that as well. Working with people in chronic pain is tough. Really tax you. And so we want to make sure our coaches are equipped to, just having the tools to take care of yourself first. And so we have a class dedicated to that. So that's kind of I guess the curriculum in a nutshell. Those are some of our main classes.
Questions on these or any of them that are standing out to you? Or any classes that you're like, ooh, I really want to take that one. Like what classes are you like, oh, that one really speaks to me. That one I'm looking forward to taking.
I guess for me, it would be the process, like the engaging process of MI, the focusing process, the evoking process. That I just be interested in the how the process with the patient would evolve over time.
So the MI really stands out to you, Pat.
Yeah, because it's you know, it's going to be a journey. So I'm assuming you're starting at a place where your patient is in a bad place. So, you know, it's like how that evolves and how you lift them. I'd be quite interested with that.
Right.
Of course, for sure. I always enjoy that.
Yeah, that transformation of how you engage with the client, how you help them to focus, how you evoke. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And I'm
Yes.
guessing, oh, what were you gonna say, Jennifer?
Sorry, I was gonna say I think I just like how in depth it goes into everything. And like I think lately I've been more focused on like the positive psychology, mindfulness stuff.
Mhm.
That's sort of interesting to get more tools around that and how to translate that to coaching someone in it versus sort of trying to apply it to my own life.
Yeah. So the in-depth, just all of the various ways we can work with people. There's just a lot of different avenues to go down. Yeah. Mindfulness is a wonderful tool, and there's so many tools in that toolbox as a coach. All right. Onward to
Yeah,
advance.
let's talk about AT as we call it, advanced training. We have like I said, we have a really heavy emphasis on group coaching. And the reason for that, um, it's been a little bit difficult to, get insurance to pay for coaching. That is one hurdle that we're still working on. There's been some good advances there. But for somebody that's wanting to start their own business, I think, group coaching is a really essential skill, because it's more affordable for the client and it's more profitable for the coach. And I really feel like it's as powerful, if not more powerful than one-on-one coaching. There's something about just kind of it's like a magnetic dynamic that happens when you get people together, and when they transform together, it's really a bonding experience. So I really have a soft spot in my heart for group coaching, and we a lot of our students that finish the advanced training, they almost everyone says that like that was the most impactful part of the program, is learning to group coach and just kind of feeling what it feels like to be in a group that is transforming into something better. So yeah, the group coaching, like I said, it meets every Thursday. We have a practicum, and we start off with a class called Why Group Coaching, and I teach some of the fundamentals of group coaching in that class, and then from there we move into I do a group session, and then every student gets to do a practicum where they're the group coach, and we really just bond through that. I always tell people at the beginning of that, that's um, you don't know each other really well when you start, but by the end of it, you're just like best buddies, and everybody wants to stay in contact, and it's really a fun thing. So anyway, we put a lot of our energy there into learning the group coaching skills. As you can see, there's some other parts of this that we really want to help coaches develop. So we talk about the pain client, right? And what the experience is like for someone in chronic pain. Chris gave you a great example of where she started out, and some of you shared your personal experience starting out with a lot of pain that was unmanageable. It wasn't something you were maybe equipped to handle at first, and over time develop skills and abilities, and your strengths come to light, all that beautiful stuff. So we go deeper into the brain pain connection. So we talk a little more in depth about neuroscience. Talk about fear and stress. So that's a huge part of the pain experience for people, is that fear factor. We really talk about discord and sustained talk. So these are elements of motivational interviewing that can come up when you're working with somebody in chronic pain, where they're not ready for change. They're allergic to change. They just feel like they are incapable of making those changes. So talk about how to navigate that and help somebody that just feels hopeless about making changes. We talk about addiction, suicide prevention, visioning. Creating a vision is so important in coaching. So go really in depth in that. So yeah, those are a few highlights from that advanced curriculum. Any thoughts or questions from you on any of that?
Or classes that kind of stand out to you that you're like, oh yeah, that's one that I really am looking forward to.
I think for me, from a physio background, movement therapy, because it's always such a, you know, nuanced conversation when you're dealing with somebody with chronic pain. But also the addiction and chronic pain, because that's something that I come across so many times in the community. And people generally self-medicating and going down a complete rabbit hole because they've started with something and they end up with something else.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Pat. Natasha, did I see your microphone come off? Did you have something you wanted to share?
Thank you. Yeah, for me as well, the addiction, especially as it's a something that I went through myself when I was desperate to find the solution.
Yeah,
And also the movement therapy. I found that a somatic element in coaching helps a lot.
yeah, yeah. Moving the body. It's like when you're in pain, it's kind of the last thing you want to do, and yet it's the thing that is quite helpful. So yeah, interesting. You and Pat had the same had the same interests. So yeah, great. Well, let's talk about we have some discount codes. We've got an early registration deadline coming up. April 22nd is the early registration deadline for our summer class that starts in May. So if you register by April 22nd for the summer class and you use the code early summer, you get a 10% discount on that class. So you would get $490 off the health and wellness class. If you did the bundle, because we offer a bundle on the combo of health and wellness plus our advanced pain. And so if you registered by April 22nd, you would get $599 off the combo. So you can either just go on our website and register that way, or you can email Paul at Paul Curtis at paincoachacademy.com. And then we have another, if you're just wanting to do our advanced pain, that starts in July, then the early discount, that code is AT for advanced training, AT early summer. And that registration deadline is June 11th. And that gives you 10% off again, and that would be $169 off of the advanced pain. Again, you can just use that discount code, register right on the website, or you can email paul.curtis at paincoachacademy.com. And really, we've got some, just to give you a few ideas of, in addition to our course info, we're an approved program. If you're wanting to take our health and wellness course, the people who took who took the exam last year, we had 100% pass rate. So we do a good job of helping to prep you. We also have a virtual asynchronous exam prep course. It was created a few years ago, but it's still very accurate. I mean, we got 100% pass rate. So, of course, we can't guarantee anything, but that's just, what's happened in the past. as far as I know, the only program out there that has a pain focus. We have, small class sizes. Our this summer will be probably, one of our larger classes. It'll probably have about 15 to 20 people. That's about as big as we get. Um, you're going to get a lot of individual attention. You're going to get mentoring on your calls. And we also have something called Pain Coach Fridays, which is a lot of fun. Paul, you want to talk about Pain Coach Fridays?
Yeah, I was talking a little bit about separation a while ago, and I feel like we're wanting to create a kind of an environment where pain coaches can come together. It can feel lonely when you get out as, you kind of finish the school, get your training done, and then you're just kind of out there on your own trying to figure things out. And so whether you're wanting to work in the corporate world with training, or you want to build your own business, or both, like, we really want to support you guys. And so we started something called Pain Coach Fridays, where we the first Friday of every month, we just get together on a Zoom call together, and it's super open dialogue. There's no, there's really no structure to it other than just, what challenges are you guys facing? What do you guys want to talk about? What are you learning? And we just kind of start with that as a prompt and see where it goes. This last class, we had all kinds of fun, or this last Pain Coach Fridays, we had a lot of fun just talking about, creative ideas about how to build a business, and how to get out there and help your community and that kind of thing. So just a way to keep us connected. And we also have a Slack community. I'll let Chris talk more about that.
Yeah, so it is just getting started. Um, I've really been wanting to create a Slack community where we can bring all of our alums who have gone through our programs together, so that, again, we're not out there, trying to figure things out on our own, but that we can come together and say, have different like channels on the platform of, how are you marketing yourself? How are you dealing with this challenge with a client? Hey, I need to get my 50 calls. There's a channel for that. We have an exclusive channel for our advanced pain people. We have a channel for our health and wellness people. So we've got different channels for different conversations, so that when you have gone through the program, you're not just like thrown to the wind, but that you're connected with people who have been through our program, because we want to build up and have, everybody working together to say, hey, this is what pain coaching is. So that's what we're doing with the Slack community. Questions on any of this, of what we've talked about?
Can I use those discount codes to register for the August class? Or do I have to
Of
wait?
course. Yeah, you're going to be super early registration.
Like super early registration.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be early registration. I mean, 100%. Yeah.
I'm going to be looking at the exchange rates and see when the best day is.
Totally.
Play the exchange rate game a little bit.
100% play the exchange rate game. Yeah. As long as, we're going to get what we're going to get. Make sure you're getting the best exchange rate.
It's not great right now.
Oh, yeah. Get the best exchange rate you possibly can for yourself. Yeah. And you will be very early registration, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah. We'd love to have you, Jennifer. And Natasha, let's brainstorm how to make this work. We won't make you sit through this, Jennifer. But once we've wrapped up with Jennifer, we can talk with you, Natasha, and figure out, how many hours we need to have live versus recorded. Are there any other thoughts or questions you have, Jennifer?
No, I am good. Thank you guys.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
All right, I'll let you go figure it out with Natasha. You can do it, Natasha. All right, bye guys.
Jennifer, it's great to meet you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Nice to meet you.